Welcome to Basic Rhythm video number 4, our final basic rhythm video. This will correspond to numbers 13 through 16 in your Basic Rhythms packet. In today's video, we're going to review the quarter note, the quarter rest, eighth notes, and we're going to introduce a new note, the half note. Let's get cracking.
For our final basic rhythm video, we're going to take a look at one new note, but first let's review the two ones that we've already covered in previous videos. That's going to include the quarter note, which looks like this, and eighth notes, which look like this. Remember, eighth notes can also be beamed in fours, so if you just have 4 going across, that is also still an eighth note because it has the single beam. When we have a quarter note and we split it in 2, that makes 2 eighth notes. Now, the new note we're learning today is called a half note. It looks like this. And what a half note is, you can think of it in one of 2 ways. Either you can think of a quarter note being twice as long, or the opposite would be a half note split in half makes a quarter note. Just like a quarter note split in half makes an eighth note. Now, either way you do the math, it's going to mean that your half note equals 2 counts or 2 beats. When we're counting this, to avoid confusion, since it's going to cover 2 beats, we're going to write the beat that it starts on. If it's at the beginning of the measure, we'll say it's 1, and then we're going to put a dash for beat 2 because it's actually held through beats 1 and 2. Let's look at a couple examples. First, I'm just going to pull in 2 half notes, and you'll notice that I'm leaving some of the boxes blank. This isn't actually an accident. I'm doing it on purpose, and you'll see when I count out why I've done it. So we're going to start out in beat 1 with our half note, and you'll notice that it's nothing in beat 2 because it's going to hold all the way through. That's why we're going to put a dash. So this note holds all the way through beat 1 and beat 2, and we would re-articulate our note on beat 3, which will incidentally hold all the way through beats 3 and 4 until you'd re-articulate on 1. Let's look at another example. So if I start out with our half note again, and then throw 2 quarter notes in there, you'll notice that we still have a blank box. Again, I've done this on purpose because we're going to start in beat 1, and then we need a dash for beat 2 because this note holds all the way through. Then we'll still have beats 3 and 4 occupied by the quarter notes. Let's do one more example real quick. We'll start out with a couple of eighth notes for fun, and then we'll throw the half note at the end. Here's what this one looks like when we count it out. We're going to start on beat 1. Remember, we've got and another one for the eighth notes. Then we have beat 2. We'll play on beat 3, and this one is held through beat 4 all the way until the beginning of the next measure. Let's take a look at rhythm number 13. You're going to notice that all the same things we've been pointing out in all the previous videos are still there. Our time signature is still 4/4. We've still got our bar lines separating each measure, and we always have that double bar line at the end telling us to finish. Now, when performing this one, if you're playing percussion, particularly like snare drum, bass drum, something like that, and you come across a half note, you're not going to be able to sustain a note fully for 2 beats. So just make sure you hit and then come back in 2 beats later. So for example, in the second measure, you're going to play on beat 1 and beat 3 and just let your instrument ring. For instrumentalists, what you're going to do is you're going to hold all the way through 2 beats. I think that'll be a little bit clearer once we count it out together with the metronome. First though, let's count out our rhythm. So we're going to start at the beginning. First measure is easy. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Next measure, we have those half notes. So we're going to play on beat 1. It goes all the way through 2. Then we're going to play on beat 3. And it goes all the way through to the next measure. And then we play 1, 2, 3, 4. We play on 1. Hold all the way to 3, and then hold till the end of the measure. Let's try doing this with a metronome, just to make it a little bit more clear for those of you who are instrumentalists in particular. Again, I have it set on 80 beats per minute if you'd like to practice this without the video. Here we go, from the beginning. 1, 2, ready, go! 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 3. As you can see, we hold straight through until the next time you would articulate your note, which in the case of the second and fourth measures is going to be 1 and 3. Finally, we're going to play rhythm number 13 together. If you're a percussionist, you'll notice that your snare drum doesn't actually sustain all the way through for your half note. So what you need to do is just make sure you're hitting exactly on beat 1 and on beat 3. If you're an instrumentalist, however, you'll want to sustain that note through beats 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. If you're confused about this, you might want to listen through to the piano track one time so you can hear what it should sound like. Just for the last time, we're going to be going at 80 beats per minute and a concert A, just like all the previous videos. 1, 2, ready, play.
And that's all there is to it. You just have to make sure that you're holding your note all the way through 2 full beats when you play half notes. Now that you've learned quarter notes, quarter rests, half notes, and eighth notes, you can play a lot of different music. So I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next series of videos where we get into more complicated rhythms.